Mental health is important. Important to you, important to me, important to our families. There are ways we deal with mental health. There's therapy, there are drugs. But today we're going to talk about one in particular, which I've recently been practicing. Today we're going to talk about meditation. Where does meditation come from? Why do so many people do it? And what does the science say about it? I'm Mikel, and this is what I learned today. So, meditation is very old, as you can imagine. The earliest written records of meditation are from India, around 1500 BC, found in ancient Hindu texts called the Vedas. These texts mention techniques like dhyana, which means deep contemplation. A few centuries later, meditation became central in Buddhism, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, around 500 BC. Now, the Buddha taught that meditation helps people understand their mind and end suffering. One of his teachings, called the Vipassana, which means clear seeing, noticing thoughts and feelings without trying to change them. Later, meditation spread to other countries. China, Taoist and Buddhist meditation around 200 BC. Japan, Zen Buddhism around 600 CE. And in Tibet, Tibetan Buddhism also around 600 CE. But meditation didn't only exist in Asia. There are other places. For example, in Christianity, monks in Egypt in the 3rd century practiced silent prayer and repeating holy words. They're called mantras in other traditions. In Islam, the Sufi mystics use chanting, breathing, and dance for spiritual connection. Even in Judaism, meditative Kabbalistic practices began around the 12th century. So meditation was not just one thing. It had many forms. For example, sitting in silence, or focusing on breath, or chanting, or praying, or walking, depending on the culture and the goal. So we jump forward to the 20th century. In the 1960s and 70s, meditation became popular in the West. Well, particularly because of interest in Eastern spirituality and the hippie movement. One of the first scientific studies on meditation was done in 1968 by Dr. Herbert Benson, a Harvard cardiologist. Now, he studied transcendental meditation, or TM, and found that people who practiced it showed lower heart rate, lower blood pressure, and slower breathing. He called this the relaxation response, a natural reaction opposite to stress. Since then, many studies have looked at mindfulness meditation, which was adapted from Buddhist Vipassana, which we talked about earlier, practices by Jon Kabat-Zinn in the 1970s. He created what is called MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, for hospital patients. It became popular around the world. Today, brain scans like MRI show that regular meditation strengthens areas related to focus and emotions, like the prefrontal cortex, which we've spoken about many times, reduces activities in the default mode network, which is active when the mind wanders, and increases gray matter in parts of the brain linked to memory and learning. Meditation is now used to help with anxiety, depression, chronic pain, addiction, even attention problems in schools. Meditation is not a cure, they say, but it's a support tool, and I can contest to that. I'll talk about that later. So meditation is part of mainstream life today. There are over 2,500 scientific studies on meditation. Millions of people use apps like Calm, Insight, Timer, and Headspace. Meditation is practiced by students, doctors, athletes, CEOs, and even in the military and prisons. It's also in schools. In some U.S. cities, schools replace detention with meditation time. One school in Baltimore reported fewer fights and better behavior. Fun fact: the World Health Organization, or the WHO, recognizes mental well-being as part of health, and meditation can support that goal. Researchers are using VR meditation, AI-guided sessions, and brainwave headsets to help people stay focused. But even with all this technology, the essence of meditation is simple. Sit, breathe, and be present. So, what did we talk about today? We went over about meditation began over 3,000 years ago in India. We talked about how it spread through religions and cultures, from Hinduism to Buddhism to Christianity and to Islam. We talked about how science shows it helps with focus, stress, and well-being. We also talked about how meditation is used by millions of people across the world, and that the future of meditation includes science, technology, and new ways to connect. But the core idea is ancient. We all have a peaceful place inside of us, and we just need to learn how to find it. Let me just say that for the last month or so, I've been practicing meditation every day for about 10 minutes, trying to get up to 20. But I have to say that it's been an interesting experience. I have felt a reduction in stress, a reduction in anxiety, a little more focus. I know it's been I haven't practiced my whole life, but understanding the baseline. Some weeks ago, I had an anxiety attack, and in one of the anxiety attacks, I had several, I decided to meditate, and I recognized that my anxiety was disappearing slowly as I just focused on my breathing. So I would recommend you try it, because I think it's something that we all need. Time for our mental health, just to give it a break from all the noise, the technology and everything that's happening. So try this. Sit still for 2 minutes today, close your eyes, and breathe slowly. Breathe out slowly. And if your mind goes crazy and wanders and you start thinking about millions of things, that's okay. Just focus on your breathing. That's meditation. I hope you enjoyed this podcast for today, guys. My name is Mikael, and this is what I learned today. Bye.